Hello everybody and welcome. I am the Beta Plan and this is Vampire's Coteries of New York, a visual novel by Troll Distance. I have muted most of the sound in order to, well, be at least heard as I'm playing this game, but now unfortunately it has gone into overmax, but let's hope on the next screen it resolves itself again. But alright, a group of a few dozen patrons are tightly packed together and the smell of their sweat and youthful, excited blood overwhelms you momentarily. It's with some difficulty that you turn to the task at hand. You've heard your share about the anarchs and how they fit in kindred politics. But you only have your short encounter in Corona Park on which to base your actual opinion of the faction. That might have been just a horrible first impression, but you're keeping your guard up just in case. You take a walk around the club. There are a few side rooms and a spacious bar area. You listen in on conversations taking place with voices hoarse from shouting, walk in on a particular sloppy threesome in the bathroom, okay, and eventually hit the dance floor for a better feel of the place. As the concert comes to an end, you witness one of the guests, a feisty looking girl, get into a scuffle with a much larger drunk guy. She doesn't seem to appreciate him reaching around her waist, slapping him with an audible crack that sends him to the ground unconscious. Two bouncers break up the crowd and pick up the drunk to carry him outside, without so much as questioning the woman. You get an inkling that she might be who you were hoping to find. You approach her and she's about to leave. What the fuck you want? She's still seething and bares her teeth for just a moment, but you've learned what to look for in kindred. You're pretty sure she's one of you. Of course she's one of you, she's just flashing her teeth. I'm interested in learning a bit about anarchy. You wouldn't happen to know, you know, someone who has first-hand experience? Hmm? Yeah, seriously? That's the best line you came up with? She doesn't smile, but she doesn't hit you either. Follow me behind the bar. She leads you through the bar to a back door that leads into a side room. Indie metal band posters are plastered on every wall, some of them 20 or more years old, judging from the tour dates. An old sticky table and some rickety chairs are the only pieces of furniture here. Sit down. Sure. You take a seat as the woman leans against one of the walls. Name's Mia. I'm guessing your visit here isn't a happy coincidence. I don't know you, so either you're new to New York or kept an outstandingly low profile. Both sound suspect. So before we take these pleasantries further, answer me this. Who do you run with? Camarilla, I guess. But I'm looking at the switch. Is that so? She looks you up and down. It's hard to read her. Okay, sure, I'll bite. But let's get one thing out of the way. She leans in. If this is some clever ploy to oust me from my domain, or if you're here to spy on me and the movement, I'll make sure that you don't enjoy undeath much longer. Got it? You can tell this is a purely rhetorical question. Right, here's the pitch. The Camarilla likes to think they're the vanilla option. What with Prince Bitch Panhard pretending that they were always in charge. But New York has never been a fully cammy city. They might have won the city in '99, but cams have had their asses handed to them many times over the years. And the movement has been there at least as long as they have. Hell, I moved to New York City before World War II, and that was a good while after I saw the Camarilla, for what they are, a way to keep us all subservient in the line. The Ivory Tower will tell you they're the only safeguard for the traditions, and that's the kind of problem. There's only one tradition we in the movement feel should be respected. The Masquerade, obviously. Everything else, ask the Prince, and she'll tell you it's the logical continuation of the Masquerade, but really it's just a way to keep the elders powerful and in control. She grimaces. But here's the thing. For all the talk of us bloodsuckers being solitary creatures, we need a community to keep up the Masquerade. Community? Yeah. But authority? Hell no. Sorry, I'm making her what I think is more New Yorker. Not by accent, but by way of expressing herself. We need a council of peers to keep the assholes and power-drunk fledglings in the check, but not a feudal prince to tell you where to feed or who to hunt down when they step on their toes. She takes a brief break from her indigent rant. That sounds too good to be true. Mia bares her teeth in a predatory smile. You better believe it. Sure, we still have to struggle with the urges of our kind, but it's safer and more fair. We're as free as our conditions permit. But unlike autarchis, we don't stand alone. That is a clan, I believe, but I may be wrong. Normally, a guy by the name of Callahan has been overseeing the movement's agenda in New York City for the past few decades. Most follow this lead. You make it sound like it's most, but not you. Yeah, not me. If you're concerned about being well received in the city, you might need to go through Callahan. But if you're serious about the anarch cause itself, he's not your guy. Callahan eats up fledglings like you and shits out. Callahan eats up fledglings like you and shits out self-preservation. What is that any different than the Camarilla? His position as a baron is mighty shaky now, not least due to the fact he's backstabbed more than his share of allies. So he's doing what any old fart in a position of power would do. He's doubling down. Negotiations are out, invitation is in. Tightening ranks as a precaution against the Second Inquisition. She surprised you by hacking and spitting on the ground in disgust. You spent some time at the camps? That should sound very familiar to you. He's no better than Panhard and her cronies are at this point. No, you need to contact Torque. And wouldn't you know it? It's your lucky night. Because I'm the lick to do it through. Why Torque? Huh? Like, what's so special about him? Because he's one of the good guys. He's a good fella. Or at least as good as we can be. Torque is a leader, a local baron who's overseeing a small domain, but doing a very good job of it. Callahan knows it, so he's giving him shit. Torque is taking it like a champ. He's smart like that. For one of us rebels, he's got the patience of a saint. Makes you think back to how things used to be way back when, if the stories are to be believed. Anyway, you want to meet him? I'm gonna require a show of goodwill first. What do you have in mind? I mean, it's fair enough, after all. She flashes you a mischievous half smile. I appreciate your readiness, but I don't have the details just now. Ask for me at the bar when you're able. I'll leave something for you and we'll take it from there. Now, come on. I gotta go. She walks you out of the bar and you go to your separate ways. Seems like there's nothing more to do than return her later and see if Mia really can help you contact Torque. I have the feeling the game only resets its entire music in the main screen, so let me give you a small diss. Because here I can hear audio. As in... See? You can hear it a little bit. Oh, I see that when I move these things, the recording doesn't like it at all. I'm sorry, I missed that last time. Yeah, well, let's just continue and see if this works. There was some background now. So we have to rest immediately again. Okay, I guess I have no choice. You arrive at the leech pit, finding it less rowdy than last time. I hear some background, but I don't hear the music anything anymore. The bar is still packed, but the dance floor is empty tonight. Instead, this guy is just weird looking the way he does. Looking at us instead of towards the music makes me think that he's something as well. The bar, sorry. Instead, the old crackling speakers are playing music that would probably sound like noise, even on high-end hardware. Mia is nowhere to be seen, but you do remember she requested that you ask for her at the bar. You approach the bar, and the bartender finishes pouring a beer for an older guy in a faded, fraying Iron Maiden t-shirt. She turns to you. What can I get you? I was told to ask about Mia at the bar. Yeah? Well, she's not in tonight. She looks you up and down, and a spark of recollection shines in her eyes. Oh, yeah, that's right. She takes a well-worn book from behind the counter. Some kind of... a vampire novel? Young adult, I assume that means? And flips through it. She produces a piece of paper from between the book pages and passes it to you. She told me you'd be interested in reading this. You find a relatively quiet corner and take a look at the note. T wants to meet you. I'll arrange it, but you need to prove you're trustworthy. Look around the leech pit for a guy named Bruce. Buff dude. Tattoo sleeve on his right arm. I'm 90% sure he's somebody's retainer. Sent here to spy on us by the cam. Give me the name of his master and write it on his card, and then return to the bar. A human who serves a vampiric master. Retainer. Why then not simply ghoul? Hold on. What is the difference between ghoul and retainer according to you? Or have you not given me ghoul? You did. A minion created by giving a bit of vampire vitae. Perhaps that's the difference. That a retainer doesn't have vitae. It doesn't take you long to locate this Bruce guy. He sits alone in a corner, 2 beer glasses already empty on his table. You take a moment to consider your approach. Nope. We don't need him. But yeah, this looks to me the best way. The man immediately notices you, but doesn't move from his spot. The other seats are empty. Hey. Hey, do I know you? Hey, you look familiar. Oh yeah, I think I saw you here before, right? Yeah, probably. Yeah, I was in a concert the other night. Oh yeah, that's right. And then you went beyond the bar with that hot chick. What I'd do for some time alone with her. Anyway, anything I can help you with, or are you just looking for somebody to chat with? What's your poison? I don't know, man. Varies from night to night. Give me a lammy. You know, whiskey and coke. A short while later, you return with the drink. The guy has been eyeing you the whole time. He picks up the glass and takes a big gulp. Oh yeah, that is the spot. He takes a second to drink to really loosen him up, and a third to make him somewhat more chatty. You learn the story of his tattoo. He tells you about his gym routine, an actual drama series he's been binge watching on YouTube, and where his favorite spot to fuck girls is. An actual drama series on YouTube? What do you mean Netflix? YouTube doesn't have very many original series. At no point does he let slip anything that would point to being someone's ghoul though. Oh, now you do name it a ghoul. In fact, you're beginning to suspect he's not nearly as drunk as he acts. Well, that was all nice, but I gotta go. Yo, thanks for the drinks anyways. Hey, wait a minute. Have you had anything to drink all this time? Yeah. Okay, cut the bullshit. I know who you are. I like the name of your master, you know. No. Any suggestions of his drunkenness is immediately gone. I have no idea what you're talking about. He smiles, seemingly confused. You better answer the fucking question if you know what's good for you. Your master's name now. Please? He doesn't buy it. You thought you had him cornered, but he suddenly leaps over the table in one smooth move and dashes through the sparse crowd. You catch up with him outside. He's balding alright. Throwing caution to the wind, you focus your blood and give chase after Bruce. He might be faster than a human, but his abilities are a fraction of yours. He dashes into a nearby alley and you follow suit. Before he can jump the fence, you tackle him to the ground. A short brawl later, you are standing a few meters apart, Bruce eyeing you with hatred. Listen, your cover is blown. I was told who you are, you better come clean. Your master's name, that's all I need. Bullshit. Besides, she'd kill me if I told you, and I quite like being alive. Here's the deal. You tell me your master's name, and you save yourself a world of hurt. Unless you want to exit this alley on a stretcher. You had better, whack. Bruce doesn't wait for you to finish talking. He jumps at you, kicking and punching with dizzying speed. It takes you by surprise and he puts you on the defensive. Just as you're about to retaliate, he breaks away, jumps the fence at the end of the alley and is gone into parts of the city unknown. Time to leave something for Mia. You borrow a pen from the bar and flip Mia's note to the other side. I think that didn't go entirely as planned. Let's put it that way. Bruce mentioned a she, so his master must be female. But that's all you've got to go on. You figure it's better to leave anything for Mia than nothing at all. No. Mia asks you for a name, but if all you have is Bruce's master's gender, it'll have to do. You jot down a note. Bruce referred to his master as she. You pass the piece of paper to the bartender. She sticks it back in the same book. Hold on a second. She wanted me to pass something on to you. She produces a cell phone from behind the counter. It's ancient, at least 15 years out of date. Alright, and this? An old charger for the piece of junk in your hand. they really did think of everything. You should be in touch. It takes you a moment to remind yourself how to operate this thing, and you find that its phone book is blank. There's no Wi-Fi connectivity and no saved messages. It's got a version of Snake though. The bartender is already over at the other end of her domain, taking orders from patrons. With your anarch contact nowhere in sight, you decide to move on for the night. Hopefully, your educated guesses, based on the scraps of info you collected, will be enough for Mia to call you. I'm not sure about that one, but whatever. Lying is not a smart thing. Frank Doherty, a shining example of journalistic excellence, is trying to get in touch with you. This can't mean anything good, but we're gonna have to accept. And after that, we're gonna have to help Hope out. Visiting Sophie's Haven, the doorman stops you. You've been here enough times that he recognizes you and says there's a note left for you. You ask about the person who left the note, and the doorman gives a description that could only be Frank Doherty, the reporter. Once you get the note, you step aside to read it.
Have what you asked. Everything, all the details. It's crazier than you can imagine. Come to meet me at the beautiful View Motel in Queens. I'm waiting for you.
The note is unsigned. On impulse, you return to the street. You didn't have anything important to do with Sophie anyway. It would be much better to come back with real information. Stepping into the beautiful View Motel, you can't help but think that the name makes promises that the building fails to deliver. You can say that again, eh? Outside, there's nothing but an ugly parking lot. Empty, the paint marking the parking space is almost completely worn away. Standing in the lobby, it feels like there's a decade's worth of still cigarette smoke. You're happy not being able to breathe anymore. The furniture looks like it was picked up from a yard sale in the 60s. There's something appropriate in the grubbiness of the surroundings. They fit the image you have of Frank perfectly. It's appropriate to find him in a place like this. You nod to the old woman manning the reception desk. She seems totally uninterested in what you're doing, her eyes glued to the small TV perched on the desk. A cop show. Walking deeper into the motel, you find a lounge that might have aspired to a kind of lavish comfort in its glory days. Now it just feels sticky, like you need to wash your clothes afterwards. Frank sits on a bar stool. There's no bartender, but Frank has a shot glass in his hand. He looks even sweatier than usual. Frank fidgets with the glass in his hands, and he wanted to give a good impression, but couldn't suppress a nervous tick.
Hope you're ready, because I have everything you asked for. Frank Doherty is a professional after all. Yes, indeed. They tried to smear my name, but I get the story.
You look nervous.
You'd be nervous too if you've been fucked over as many times as I have. Once they think you're a bad guy, they start making up lies about you. Doesn't matter what's true and what isn't.
Frank seems to be in a strange mood, hard to read. Maybe it's just the alcohol speaking, but something is off about him. Who's they, Frank?
Everyone. All those assholes who thought they were smarter than me. If you're a reporter, you make mistakes. Everyone does. You make enemies and you get facts wrong. So why was I singled out?
You're not sure you can get anything out of Frank. He's throwing himself in a pity party and decided to invite you. You decide to try one more time. Now I'm your friend, Frank. I can help you. Frank sounds like he has plenty more bitterness inside him waiting to come out.
Let me tell you something else.
An ear-splitting sound fills the lounge and bright flash blinds you. For a second, an irrational panic grips your dead heart. Is this sunshine? Are you going to burn to death in a cheap motel in Queens? As your vision adjusts, something whizzes past you. Uh-oh. There's a series of funking sounds, something impacting the bar. Frank is lifting the shot glass, miraculously still in his hand. A massive bloodstain is spread across his shirt. For a bizarre, incongruous moment, you stare at the thing sticking out of Frank's chest. It's a crossbow bolt. Another two lie shattered next to the bar, having missed their targets. One missed you by a hair's breadth. Turning around, you see figures dressed in black tactical gear storming into the room in near silence. Perhaps the flashbang damaged your ears. They drop their tactical bows and lift up rifles. Who comes prepared with a crossbow? Frank slumps to the floor. A wooden crossbow bolt will paralyze a vampire, but struck through a human heart, it kills. The scent of blood fills the air. You're facing a highly trained force of well-armed commandos. There's only one thing to do. Run away. You don't even stop to think, just following your reflexes as you duck behind the bar and dive through a staff door as bullets hit the wall next to you. Fortunately, the blessings of the blood don't care whether you're being brave or a coward. The blood speeds up your body as you rush through the back room, past the empty beer kegs and the half-full boxes of liquor bottles. Spotting a back door, you burst outside into the night. Running around the corner of the building, you see 4 SUVs parked in the motel front door, all black with tinted windows, which is why I didn't attack. I thought there would be too many. A man and a woman, middle-aged, dressed like detectives, stare at you in surprise as you run past them. One tries to yell something as you stumble to your car, wrench the door open, and turn the ignition. For a terrifying moment you fumble with the keys, but then the car starts and you floor it, careening onto the highway. You run into Sophie's building past a surprised-looking doorman. Time is of the essence. You pound on the door of Sophie's apartment more for the sake of your own nerves than because you think it's any help. After a few moments, Sophie herself opens the door and looks at you in surprise. She doesn't have her makeup on and her hair is disheveled. You've caught her on a night off. Doesn't look like it. What happened to you? As you step into the apartment and follow Sophie to her living room, you see the remains of a party. She's gonna be angry because I led just the Inquisition to her doorstep. Empty glasses, a faint smell of blood in the air. You have no time to contemplate Sophie's social life, however. We're being hunted. We're all going to die if we don't do anything. Sometimes I regret taking you under my wing. If you don't calm down, I'll feed you to whoever is after me. Sit down and stay calm. I'll check whether this apartment is still secure. That's exactly what I meant. I knew it! I would make a better vampire than you, Lamar. Or maybe I already know all the rules that you should actually follow. Anyways, you sit down, suddenly conscious of the vast gulf in experience between you and Sophie. She's managed to stay alive for a very long time and knows how to survive. You only hope that you'll survive along with her. For the next hour or so, you sit on Sophie's sofa, answering minute questions about Frank and the commandos who assaulted you. At intervals, she makes murmuring phone calls to mysterious contacts. After a longer while, Sophie lets you go. You should be safe, and more importantly, I should be safe too. I've taken measures to secure both our havens, but keep your eyes open nonetheless. And a journalistic intervention achievement is unlocked. You leave Sophie's apartment wondering whether you survive in an ambush like this. What I'm more surprised about is that Sophie just pulls some strings, it's done, it's safe, and what up to do? You don't know why, and does she have contact in the Second Inquisition, or like, it's kind of interesting. Anyways, time to rest. A piece of paper sticking out of your mailbox. It's a computer printout, a note and a screenshot from Google Maps. It reads, "Meet me at the indicated spot tomorrow at 10 PM. I'll pick you up and we'll take it from there." No signature. The place marked on the map is the lookout point near Pier 1, just next to the Brooklyn Bridge. I won't believe that this spot is never empty without people. You check on the phone that Mia passed on to you. No new messages, no missed calls. It's a bit fishy, but there's only one way to find out who addressed this to you. Looks like tomorrow evening has been planned out for you. Cool that you skipped then the one night that I could go to Hope, for instance. You just skipped an entire night for me. You go downstairs as soon as you wake up. One more glance at the phone, but no news from Mia. You take the car to Brooklyn, park on the front street, and approach the meeting spot cautiously. A figure of about Mia's size is standing there, dressed in an oversized jacket and looking out towards Manhattan. As you approach, you can hear her muttering something. Oh, come on, this is never gonna be empty. At least I think. It is true, but I do not think it's true. If I do not think it's true, then it cannot be true. And if it cannot be true, then... sorry to bother you, but I'm supposed to... Well, meeting somebody here tonight. I don't suppose that would be you. The woman turns around. It's not Mia. Whoever it is, you have never seen her before. She looks perfectly plain and unmemorable. Why, yes, it's me. We are meeting now. You are meeting me. I am meeting you. Such a joyous occasion. You turn around. 3 men, all of them burly and threatening, approach you. One of them takes the lead. So, you got the message. I did. So what do I do now? Now? Now you come with us. Sorry, now you will come with us. The boss wants to meet you. You mean Turk? What? You gotta be shitting me. Turk isn't the boss of jack shit. I mean Boss Callahan, you dumbass. I should just get a move on. We got places to be. The voice of the woman keeps creeping into your consciousness. The litany of gibberish ever present throughout this entire conversation. The man cracks his knuckles. Or we can do this the hard way. Even if this is a trap. I'm not gonna get out and facing 3 vampires and perhaps the woman being number 4. Yeah, okay. I'll go with you. Smart. Always when I'm short and try to do a burly voice, I tend to get a grovel in it by accident. It's a failing of me as a storyteller, dungeon master, what have you not. They lead you down to the pier and onto a motorboat. The engine starts. Put this on. He points to a cloth sack. One of the guys is holding you down. The woman is still there, whispering to herself. Somehow you hear her voice clearly in your head. It becomes a nagging suggestion to put the sack over your head. You don't really want to do it, but your hands go through the motions all the same. It takes 15 or so minutes to reach your destination, you think. The engine dies down and you are led on shore and then further up. An incline and through some overgrowth. 10 more minutes of walking, maybe, until a deep voice reaches your ears. Vincent, my boy, why the hood over our guest's face? Well, boss, I thought... No, that will not do. How many times do I have to repeat myself, Vincent? You don't have to think. You have to listen and do what you're told. Yes? Yes, boss. Well, take that ridiculous sack off their head, will you? The hood comes off. The owner of the deep voice is a curious sight, dressed in what can only be described as Victorian clothing, with a monocle and greying red hair. Is this Callahan? Apologies for Vincent's unacceptable behavior. He can be a little thick sometimes. Isn't that right, Vincent? Yes, boss. Sometimes. A little. I believe you already know who I am. You're Boss Callahan. Right you are. And I'm guessing you know my role in this city. I represent the Enoch movement, while you, I am not quite sure what you represent. I've invited you here to find out. Now, let me make myself perfectly clear. I am disappointed in you. Truly disappointed. But I arranged this meeting to allow you to make amends. First, though, I have to make sure you understand what your infraction was. So, do you know why you're here? It's because I want to meet with Torque? Ah, yes. You're not stupid, so that's nice. Change of pace. Torque is the reason you're here. Or that little angry strumpet of his and tools. Yes, Mia? Oh, how I'd love to get my hands on her gaunt neck and wring it till it breaks. But see, I'm a statesman, and that's not the prudent thing to do. No, indeed, the prudent thing to do is to tolerate both her and her blasted ebony-skinned mentor of hers. You folk call yourself Afro-American, correct? Bah! Back in my day we knew what being American meant. And sure as hell didn't mean being black. Oh, great, we have an old KKK guy on our side. Yeah. That I won't do, but finish with your disgusting rant about race. Oh, fledgling, you have no idea who you're messing with. He looks at you with rage in his eyes, and you feel insignificant and vulnerable. An irrational fear takes over you. You cannot speak up against this man again. You just can't. He is too terrifying. Now that I have your full attention, I will request something from you and you will obey me to the letter. But that comes later. First you will answer a few questions, first of which, who pointed you to Mia? Nobody. Was my idea. Oh really? What was your intention behind this meeting? I want to contact Torque. I had to go for Mia. Ah yes, the so-called veteran loves to use petite girls to hide behind, I heard. That would check out. What did you end up discussing? Veteran, wait a second. Are you from the south and he is from the north? Or do we have an American Civil War vampires going on around here who hate each other? I want to learn about the Anarchs, so I asked her about the movement. Oh, child. You should have come to me then. I am the Anarch movement in New York City, and nobody makes a secret out of it. You bet on the wrong horse, as I'm sure you'll soon learn. See, that wasn't hard now, was it? Of course, I can't be sure of how much of what you told me is true, and how much of it's worth about as much as yesterday's horse shit. But I'll find out, I always do. And when I do, we'll have another one of these nice talks, and maybe, just maybe, you'll avoid this upcoming unpleasant episode next time. He gives Vince a sign, and as the burly man starts hitting you all over, you feel teeth, ribs, and fingers break. Your foot is mangled under Vince's boot. Your shoulder dislocated, your nose wrecked. That's enough, Vincent. Leave him be. He snaps his finger in front of your face a few times and checks if you can focus on his face. You can, but barely. I'm a man of principle. Another night I would perhaps put you in a casket, dip it in concrete and dump it in the Hudson. A favorite of mine during the roaring 20s. Oh, it's been a while. But, like I mentioned before, I'm nothing but prudent, and so the interest of the city's kindred must come before my own needs and wants. I will therefore let you continue your existence. Here's what I require in return for this boon. You are forbidden to me to talk. I will keep an eye on you, on him, and if you want to plays with the Anarchs, you go through me and only me. Got it. You have to understand what I made my associates do to you tonight was just business. We can still work out mutually beneficial relationship. In fact, it's either that or your final death. Time to go, Vincent. Take the boat back, leave the fledgling here. I think they have a lot to think about. Sure thing, boss. Pleasure making your acquaintance. Callahan walks away, and so do Vince and his band of thugs. You lie on the ground for a while longer, feeling the blood slowly putting your body back together, your hunger growing. You can hear the beast calling for sustenance, for safety, for revenge, a distant but pronounced third desire. It's not until you mend yourself enough to appear more as a mugging victim than an impossibly mangled walking cadaver that you hail a passing taxi and head back to your haven. The whole way there you are tempted by the beast. Your driver, a 30-something with a strong Slavic accent and an unpronounceable name on his ID, keeps asking if he should drive you to the hospital. You keep declining, all the while thinking that if you asked him to pull over for 5 minutes, you could feast on his warm blood to the beast's content. Drink him whole. Nobody would know. Nobody but his wife and kids, if he has them. Nobody but his boss and co-workers. Nobody but you, as you look into the mirror tomorrow. Keeping your hunger at bay was never before as difficult as it is tonight. The driver stops at your apartment. There's nobody around. You can do it. Do it. Now. Now! A. Never get a cab when you are currently healing yourself, because they might see that you're healing yourself. And absolutely not. You pay the driver and walk out. Fast. Leave the car behind. And don't look back. Look back. Walk back. Feed. No. No, 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 no. Through the door, up the stairs, key in the lock, open the apartment, walk in, lock yourself in. The familiar four walls of your haven are a blessing. The beast inside you keeps nagging, but you kept it at bay tonight. Not a small feat given your state. You're still weak. You're not still quite mended. You need to rest. Tomorrow, you will have to feed again. Tomorrow, you will have to consider your next move. Callahan is not the kind of man who quits. But tonight, you rest. Well, I think that is a very good place to stop this episode. And if you want my 2 cents, Callahan is gonna die. I am gonna... No, there's enough swearing in these episodes. Thanks to the text of Draw Distance with Zelda, I can do this. He's a fucking racist. And I will kill his ass. And yes, I am white. Normally. But, oh no, hell no. I hope you're looking forward to that. I say thank you for watching, and remember, great peril yields great beauty.